getting too deep and trying to get to know me.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to do something very chilled. I wanted to talk to you guys while sipping on some H2O. Water for your daughter. I just wanted to speak about a few things and share what 2020 has taught me, guys, because one thing about 2020 legit came through like, you think you know me. I will show you that this is not your mother's house. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you stay. Please subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, comment, interact with me, because I really like to have a dialogue with you guys about some of the things that I talk about on this channel. So let's get into it, guys. 2020. So I don't think any of us were prepared for what we were going to go through this year, because legit sinye sonke. When a CEO, when a business owner, when a employer, when a employee, like everybody felt the heat this year. And a lot of people went through the most. But I just wanted to speak about my experience this year because, guys, it was a lot. At the beginning of the year, it seemed to be like we all thought that this year was going to bring nothing but good vibes. A joke, my darling. At the beginning of this year, when it all started, around the time that the Rona hit us, because we legit thought that this thing was a joke. Around the time when the Rona hit us, homegirl was in a relationship, and I legit thought that this was going to be my last relationship, because I legit thought that this person was my soulmate. I still do think so, but sometimes you just don't end up being with a soulmate, and I'm okay with that, because we make plans and God laughs. God is just up there laughing, like, see joke, guys, see joke. That happened, okay? That's how this whole 2020 struggle started for me. I broke up with this person, and then things just started going downhill. Like, we all just were forced into a lockdown, and some people were just really not dealing with it. Like, depression just peaked. It peaked to its highest, and I can attest to that because I was one of those people that I couldn't deal, right? And I was forced to really face a lot of things that I had been running away from, things that affected me in my everyday life, like past pathologies, unlearning certain behaviors, dealing with childhood traumas. Everything that I thought I was okay with, I was forced to kind of sit with myself, because we were there in our rooms, in our houses, not having the vices of comfort eating, because you can't go to a restaurant, you can't go to a fast food joint and be like, okay, I'm gonna stress eat, because I'm a stress eater. You can't drink because alcohol was unavailable. So we were all forced to deal. So 2020 taught me to be really honest, right, with myself, number one, and with people around me. So I'm someone that really just doesn't like hurting people's feelings at the detriment of my own feelings, if that makes sense. Like, I will legit sacrifice myself sometimes, sacrifice my happiness to make sure that everybody else is straight. And that's something that I had to unlearn this year. That is something that I legit had to unlearn this year. So when it all happened, I was forced to be brutally honest with myself, with the people around me, with my family. Guys, ngakhipha ma secret mina. I was just like, you know what? What's the worst that could happen? Let me just tell the truth about certain things that I have been through. Share it with my family, and whatever happens, happens. And let me tell you now, that freed me. And had it not been for this year, I don't think I would have really just did what I did. Anyway, I went ahead and filled my eyebrows in off camera because it's a real struggle. Like, I commend people who can do this on camera because it's really tough. Anyway, 2020 really forced me to accept a lot. Like, accept the fact that I am not in control. If 2020 taught us anything, is that we are not in control. And God really wanted to prove that point to us. And as guys, God really proved to us that He can shut all of this down and humble us. And boy, oh boy, was I humbled. Because I happen to be one of those people who like to be in control of my life, if that makes sense. I like to be comfortable. Like, I like to be in my comfort zones. And 2020 just ruined all of that for me. Like, comfort zone was something that was a foreign subject to me. So yeah, 2020 just really humbled me. And I think one of the biggest lessons that I learned this year is that you cannot run away from your spiritual gifts. No matter how hard you try, you will be stripped of everything, literally. You'll be stripped of everything. And if you know, you know. It's not a pleasant experience, but again, if you know, you know. And that happened to me, and it's been kind of happening. So, up until recently, when those spiritual events started happening, I just went into a spiral of depression because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who I could talk to about it, because if we're being all the way honest, people look down on that part of African spirituality. And I really didn't know who to share my experience with. And it was a painful experience. That really was a painful experience. But what helped me was accepting. Not only that, but accepting everything that had happened prior to that within this year. Accepting the new reality that we have to now adjust to. And once I accepted, I think that kind of released me from a lot of things. And things started getting better. So, about a week ago, hey. Okay, let me focus. About a week ago, and even before that, like I think a month ago, I really started struggling. I wasn't sleeping, and if I was sleeping, the lucid dreams would just be too much to handle. So I was just drained. I was so drained. And for me, what I have noticed is that things happen in threes. Things happen in threes for me. I'll dream the same dream 3 times and then it'll happen, or something will happen, right? Or just something about the number 3. So what I did last week, I decided to go on a 3-day fast, because before I decided that I'm going to go on this fast, guys, bendikowisha, like, you know when you're being terrorized for no reason. Like, I was legit being terrorized with the mixed messages, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do, who I'm supposed to go to, who I'm supposed to trust, because now it's just mixed messages and I didn't know what to make of it. So I was like, let me just go straight to the source, because I don't know any better. So I decided to go on a 3-day fast and prayer. Fasting and prayer for 3 days. And when I tell you that things started becoming 2020 vision type of clarity, it clarified a lot of things for me. And one thing about God, and I speak for myself, I don't know what anybody else's experience is, but one thing about God, when you go to him and asking for something specific, he will answer you. He will answer you. And within these 3 days of fasting and prayer, I would randomly open my Bible. I know that people don't recommend that. It took 3 days, guys, to get the answers that I was trying to get. Literally, it took 3 days. After the weeks and the months that I had been struggling, God was like, come to me and I will tell you in 3 days what you need. And boy, did he tell me. So I'm going to be sharing with you what he told me. The first night of my fasting and prayer period, God led me to the book of Jeremiah 3 verse 14 to 15. This one says, "Return, faithless people, declares the Lord. For I am your husband, I will choose you." My glasses are needed. "One from a town and two from a clan, and bring you two to Zion. Then I will give you shepherds after my own heart, who will lead you with knowledge and understanding." Now, I know that for someone watching this, they won't relate because our situations are different. But for my situation that I was going through, this was like the fact that he said he will send shepherds who will lead me with understanding and knowledge. I was like, okay. This made me, for the first time in a long time, feel so hopeful for the fact that my heart's desires, my troubles, my worries are in the right hands, right? Everything that had been bothering me, I gave it over to him, and I knew that he was handling it. So the second night, I opened my Bible again because I was like, okay, I saw you yesterday. What can you do for me today? And then he led me to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 11, verses 7 to 10. This one says, "Life is sweet and it pleases the eyes to see the sun. However many years anyone may live, let them enjoy them all. But let them remember the days of darkness, for they will be many. Everything to come is meaningless. You who are young, be happy while you are young, and let your heart give you joy in the days of your youth. Follow the ways of your heart, and whatever your eyes see. But know that all those things God will bring you judgment. So then banish anxiety from your heart and cast off the troubles of your body, for youth and vigor are meaningless." Basically, God is telling us that within 2020, everything that happened, everything we thought we deserved to happen to us, was meaningless. The marriage that you thought you were going to get this year, meaningless. The house that you thought you were going to buy this year, meaningless. The car that you thought you were going to buy, meaningless. The millions you thought you were going to accumulate with your business, with your incorporation, with your franchises, all them things was meaningless. Essentially, what I got from Ecclesiastes was that everything that I was crying about that I had lost was meaningless. It didn't feed my spirit, it didn't feed my soul. It certainly didn't help me get to where I wanted to get, because it was meaningless. Everything I was crying about and being a brat about, quite frankly. God was like, man, those are little things. You're crying about small things. Things that I can replace tenfold. You know what I mean? And that for me shook me the second night. I don't want to lie, because he said, cast all your anxiety and fears to him. For all of this is meaningless. Don't worry about what you lost this year. Because the day I decide to replace, you will be shaken. You will be moved. And I felt in that second day, that second night, I felt my faith being restored. I felt like I was going back to who I am, my strength in my gifts. Everything I felt like was coming back to me. I felt good. I felt so good. And then the third night, guys, you'll think I'm joking. I legit opened my Bible randomly every night. And God, the third night, led me to the book of Acts, chapter 15, verses 16 to 18. And this one says, listen properly.
Listen properly.
This one says, after this, I will return and rebuild David's fallen tent. Its ruins I will rebuild, and I will restore it, that the rest of mankind may seek the Lord, even all the Gentiles who bear my name, says the Lord.
Oh my God! Wow!
Now, after this very clear message from God, he legit said, after all of this, I will come, me, myself. I will come. After 2020, after everything that has happened to everyone, after all of you who believe in me, who seek me, I will come and I will rebuild. I will restore. I said, okay, let me go to bed. I got what I had been looking for. And after those 3 nights, I felt so good. I got the rest that I needed. I started sleeping again. And you'll think that this is some heebie-jeebie type of stuff, but legit, I started sleeping again. I started, my peace came back to me, because peace is important. I felt a sense of peace. This color is so pretty, and it doesn't show as nicely as I wanted to show on camera, but it's so pretty. Anyway, after those 3 days and 3 nights, I felt peace. I felt like, okay, my future, everything that I know, everything I feel is going to come to pass is in the right hands. So I don't need to worry. We too pretty to be worrying. You don't need to stress. And now, approaching the end of this year, I feel like I have been renewed and restored. And I can only thank God for that, because I feel like I'm a new person. And I've been praying a lot this year. I've been seeking God a lot this year. I think most of us have, because of the things that just happened to us. But I really was seeking God this year. And my biggest lesson that I've learned, or the biggest thing that God has taught me, is that I don't need to worry about anything. Honestly, I really don't need to worry about anything. What is for me will always be for me. It will find its way to me, and it will stay. Okay? Everything that I know I'm trying to achieve, it'll come to me in God's time. I just need to work and do my part, and then just chill. Cruise control. So as we approach the end of this year, I feel like I'll go into 2021 being grateful for each and every lesson that I've learned this year. No regrets. I'm not sad about anything that happened. I know that, as cliche as it sounds, everything does happen for a reason. You don't need to cry about things that you've lost. Or don't dwell on them, rather, because I can't now dismiss the fact that people actually lost a lot. But don't dwell on the things that you have lost. Because when God replaces, when God comes and he rebuilds and restores, honestly, like, we legit forgot that all of this is meaningless. All of this is meaningless, and it can be taken away within Thanos' snap. Thanos being God in this case, but you get the gist. Like, all of this can be stripped away from us in seconds. And we forgot that. We thought that we were immortal. But God proved otherwise. And God is a God that he's not malicious. So everything that he did wasn't to destroy our lives, but for us to kind of get what we needed to get from this year in terms of lessons, but then to move on with better blessings, you know? Because God is not malicious. Like I said, he's not a God that wants to hurt you, that wants to destroy you, that wants to like hurt you purposefully. And that's something that I used to think, like, when I would be going through the most, I'd be like, but like, God, why are you allowing this? Why? Yeah, God, I don't think God's intentions are to destroy our lives and to cause pain for no reason, you know? I think God is very intentional. And that's something, again, that I learned this year. God is so intentional, and his intentions are pure, but they're direct. And I learned to not question anything that God does for me. I learned to not question anything that God takes away from me, because I knew that was not for me, so there's no point in crying about it. So I feel, in the bigger sense of things, that I am blessed. I'm so blessed, and we all really are. If you are here watching this video, the fact that you woke up this morning, man, that is a blessing, and that's something that we take for granted. The fact that you think you open your eyes by yourself when you open your eyes in the morning. You think you go back home from work, you've been driving around, whatever, you go back home, you lay in bed and you sleep and you wake up the next day by your own doing. How arrogant. How arrogant of us to think that this is spatty, you know? And God is good. And then at the end of my 3-day prayer and fasting period, I opened my Bible again, because I just felt so hopeful, and God led me to the book of Job. Now, if you know this book, if you know who Job is, you know that Job went through the most. Guys, Job was stripped of everything. Every single thing. And Job was someone who was devoted to God, and still he was stripped of everything. Chapters 4 verse 2 to 11. This one says, if someone ventures a word with you, will you be impatient? But who can keep from speaking? Think how you have instructed many. How many have you strengthened? Feeble hands. Your words have supported those who stumbled. You have strengthened faltering knees. But now trouble comes to you, and you are discouraged. It strikes you, and you are dismayed. Now, this book carries on, but I'll stop there. And this one hit me, because God was like, hey, Mfethu, you have encouraged so many people, you have spoken to so many people, and you're sitting here feeling sorry for yourself. You're feeling discouraged, like you don't take your own advice. Basically, what this book told me, what God was telling me. He was like, fine, you thought that you'd be at a certain point by now, but you're not there. And you have advised and you have encouraged people who have been in this very same position, but now you're feeling sorry for yourself. I felt like a hypocrite because God was calling me out, and I was like, God, stop. I felt a sense of guilt. I felt so guilty because he was hitting me with the facts, yo. Like, I'm someone who really wants to be strong for everyone. I want people, I don't like it when people are going through things and I can't help. I hate feeling helpless. So whatever way I can help someone, I'm going to do it. I'm going to help. And then trouble hit me and I couldn't help myself. And God was like, aren't you being a hypocrite? Because you're telling everybody else that and you don't believe that for yourself. Interesting. Fine, you lost a few people this year. You lost a few things this year. But those things mean nothing. Those things that you've lost, they mean nothing. Because I'm in control. I'm in control and I know where life is supposed to be headed. Because also, my quarter life crisis hit me this year. I was like, I'm turning 29 next year. And I haven't achieved X, Y, and Z. And God was like, who told you that you are supposed to achieve those things by this time? Like, discipline, guys. God really disciplined me, and I feel like I'm in a better place now when it comes to everything that has transpired this year. I am in a place of acceptance, and I'm at a place of really trusting God. So with everything that I have said in this video, I hope that whoever might be watching feels like there is a light at the end of the tunnel, because there really is. I hope it encourages you. Just know that, man, that guy upstairs, he's orchestrating the biggest blessing that is going to shake you out of your boots. And man, why was I holding on to this thing for so long? Why was I crying about X, Y, and Z for so long? Because when God replaces, it's going to be an overwhelming blessing. But you need to surrender all control that you think you have. Okay, so I'm done with my face. Let me change my light so you can see this green, guys. It's so cute. See? It's so nice. Anyway, I really just wanted to come on here and share my experience of how 2020 was for me. And I think a lot of people can relate to what I have said today. But the most important lesson that I've learned is that you really just have to relinquish any control that you feel you have over your life. Cool, granted, you do have control over certain things up until a certain point, but sometimes you just have to let God. So these are little reminders that I just have to keep enforcing in my life, and going back to the notes that I made, going back to the scriptures that I have read over the past few days, and really just reminding myself and renewing my thoughts, renewing my faith, renewing my spirit, because every day presents its own challenge, but you need to be prepared to go through certain things. And that's what I've been trying to do, really, just being prepared to weather the storm, but be prepared in the right way, you know, because anyway, I digress. But yes, you need to be prepared in the right way. Pray up, guys. Stay prepared for anything, because now the enemy is there prepared to attack. You also need to be prepared with whatever protection that you need. Okay? So, okay, let me stop fidgeting. Let me close this video off, guys. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe without a doubt. And tell your folks to tell their folks that the kid is on YouTube.